evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Emma Doe. In today's news, police investigate the Washington Mall shooting, controversial Filipino President Duterte to visit Vietnam, and a Vietnamese girl wins top prize at an international writing competition. To today's top story, in the US, police are investigating the motive of a gunman who opened fire in a Washington department store over the weekend. 20-year-old Arkan Setin killed 4 women and 1 man in the rampage before fleeing the scene on foot. He was later taken into police custody following a 20-hour search. The FBI have not yet ruled out the case as a terrorism act, but says there is no evidence currently to indicate terrorism. Police are currently looking into the connection between Setin and his ex-girlfriend, who is believed to have worked at the department store. Court records found by the Seattle Times newspaper detail Setin's criminal history, which includes 3 charges of domestic violence against his stepfather. Now to an update on the continuing Charlotte protests, where a crowd of over 100 people gathered outside a National Football League match on Sunday. The rally was largely peaceful, with calls to end police violence. The latest demonstration follows the public release of 2 police videos which show the moments before the death of black man Keith Scott. Despite police claims that Scott was holding a weapon before his death, the video offers no clear evidence. A prominent anti-Islamist writer has been fatally shot outside a court in Jordan, where he was awaiting charges for contempt of religion. Writer Nahed Hattar was shot 3 times at close range on the steps of the court in the country's capital city, Amman. Local security sources say the gunman was a Muslim preacher from the capital. He was known as a Christian writer and a vocal supporter of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The Australian mining giant BHP Billiton has been hit with a class action suit over claims it underpaid its US employees in Texas. It's alleged the company underpaid gate guard workers at its shale oil operation in Texas during the last 3 years. About 50 workers have launched the suit. It includes claims that BHP did not pay overtime and converted workers' employment status into independent contractors without their knowledge. Indonesian police have arrested an alleged high-profile people smuggler who has targeted Australia since 1999. The man, known as Captain Bram, is currently in police custody in Jakarta. Bram was arrested over a failed attempt to send 65, mostly Sri Lankan asylum seekers, from Indonesia to Australia in 2015. The Australian Minister for Justice, Michael Keenan, said the man could face up to 10 years in jail. To news in Vietnam. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte is set to visit Vietnam this week, a senior government official said on Sunday. In an interview over a state-run radio station, Presidential Communications Officer Martin Andenar said trade and commerce will be on the bilateral agenda. The palace official also said Duterte will meet with businessmen and the Filipino community in Vietnam during his trip. This will be Duterte's first visit to Vietnam since he assumed the presidency last June. A young Vietnamese student has won first prize at the 2016 International Letter Writing Competition for Young People, held by the Universal Postal Union. Nguyen Thị Thu Trang, a 9th grader from Hai Dương province in northern Vietnam, is the second Vietnamese student to win first prize at the annual competition. This year's competition theme was Write a Letter to Your 45-year-old Self. Zhang imagined herself as Alan Kurdi, the 3-year-old Syrian refugee boy who drowned off the coast of Turkey last September while trying to reach Europe with his family. The letter to Kurdi's 45-year-old self also encompassed Trang's hope of a world without violence. Meanwhile, back in Australia, an Aboriginal inmate has died after a violent incident at a South Australian prison. The man's family say the incident left him brain dead. He was kept in serious condition in hospital for 3 days before he died this morning. The incident occurred on Friday after the 29-year-old man allegedly attacked 5 prison officers at the Yatala Labour Prison. It's believed he was then taken to maximum security, where he suffered a cardiac arrest. 5 prison staff were injured in the event. The man's sister, Latoya Rule, is claiming for justice and claims her brother was a non-violent man. The nation's diet is being called into question after a recent study by the CSIRO revealed that most Australians' eating habits are below par. The 2016 CSIRO Healthy Diet Score report documented the eating habits of more than 86,000 adults across Australia over a 1-year period. The report gave the nation's healthy diet score a 59 out of 100. The benchmark score is 70. More than 1/3 of people in the country admitted to eating more than the maximum 2 serves of junk food per day, which includes alcohol, cake and biscuits. The report also shows that women had better nutritional levels than men, while construction workers were among those with the poorest diets. The Victorian chapter of the Vietnamese Community in Australia Association has had its election to determine its representatives for the next 3 years. Over 1,500 voters turned up yesterday to cast their ballot across 6 polling stations throughout Melbourne. Results show a majority vote of confidence with only 11 votes of no confidence. The VCA is the elected umbrella organisation representing all Australians of Vietnamese background. Each state has its own chapter. That's all from TV Tuan-san News at 6. I'm Emma Doe. Thank you for watching.